The whispers are done. Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, a man known more for writing checks than calling quarterback plays, has made his decision. And this one, oh, it's loud. Week 1, barring catastrophe, Shedeur Sanders will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Not Flacco, not Pickett, not Gabriel, Shedeur, period. This isn't a suggestion. It's not some behind closed doors power play. According to multiple sources and confirmed by Colin Cowherd himself, the mandate came directly from the top. Haslam didn't just endorse Sanders, he handpicked him over the objections of a coaching staff clinging to veterans like security blankets. While Stefanski and the front office tried to play cute on draft day, reaching early for Dylan Gabriel to block the Sanders pick, Haslam stepped in and forced their hand. He saw something the rest of the league was too scared or too stubborn to admit. Shedeur Sanders is the real deal. He didn't fall to the 5th round because of his talent. Let's be honest, this was bias, plain and simple. They didn't like his last name. They didn't like the watch flex. They didn't like the aura. The way he walks like he knows something you don't. But guess what? He does. The truth is, no one in that Browns quarterback room, not a single man, is better than Shedeur Sanders. Not now, not ever. Flacco had his moment. Pickett had his chance. Gabriel was never that guy, but Shedeur, he's different. He's not just playing quarterback, he's shifting the gravity in Cleveland. And when the Browns take the field in week 1, it won't be a surprise. It won't be a gamble. It'll be confirmation that the kid they doubted, the name they dismissed, and the player they tried to delay is about to lead this team into the future. Because the owner has spoken and Shedeur Sanders is his quarterback. The NFL draft is supposed to be about building for the future. But in Cleveland, it became a chess match of ego and defiance. What happened in the war room back in April wasn't just strategy, it was sabotage. The coaching staff and front office didn't want Shedeur Sanders, not because he lacked talent, not because he didn't fit the scheme, but because they didn't want to deal with the weight that comes with him, the spotlight, the expectations, the unapologetic self-belief, the name. Kevin Stefanski and GM Andrew Berry had their minds made up. They saw the media circus forming before Shedeur's name was even called, and so, in a move reeking of desperation, they pulled the trigger on Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, 2 rounds before Shedeur. It was a smokescreen, a maneuver to dodge what they saw coming. They figured if they acted fast enough, if they reached just far enough, Jimmy Haslam wouldn't have a reason or a chance to force Shedeur onto their roster. But Haslam wasn't playing checkers. The moment Shedeur's name was still on the board in the 5th round, the room changed. Haslam didn't just override the pick, he challenged the staff's entire plan. And when Shedeur's name was finally called, it wasn't with hesitation, it was with intent. The owner of the Cleveland Browns handpicked Shedeur Sanders, not as a project or a PR stunt, but as a cornerstone. And that's what rattled the room. Because deep down, they knew what this meant. This wasn't just another draft pick. This was a power shift. This was the beginning of a new quarterback era in Cleveland, and not one they got to control. The moment the card was turned in, the countdown to week 1 began, and every snap since has been proof that Haslam was right. They didn't want Shedeur because he challenged their hierarchy, but Haslam didn't care about keeping the peace in the front office. He cared about finding a winner. And he knew before anyone else would say it out loud, Shedeur Sanders is that guy. From the moment Shedeur Sanders heard his name called in the 5th round, the label was already stamped on him, developmental. That's the polite NFL code for he won't matter this year. The coaching staff treated him like an afterthought, just another arm for camp, someone to groom quietly behind the scenes, run scout team, soak up the system, stay humble. But Shedeur didn't walk into Cleveland like a 5th rounder. He walked in like a quarterback, a real one, the kind who doesn't need validation from where his name was placed on a draft card. He wasn't interested in waiting his turn. He was ready to compete from the jump. And that's what shook the foundation of the quarterback room. While the staff funneled reps to Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett and tried to justify giving Dylan Gabriel a head start simply because he was picked earlier, Shador got the scraps. But what he did with those scraps, that's what turned heads. From the first OTA session, he operated like a pro. His command of the huddle, his ability to diagnose the field pre-snap, and the way he delivered the ball with timing and purpose, it didn't match a rookie thrown in with the fours. It matched someone who saw himself as the starter. And that confidence, that's exactly what they didn't like. The narrative was supposed to be simple. Let the rookies sit, let the veterans battle, but Shador refused to play that game. He put pressure on the system, exposed the politics, and made it clear. There's no one in this room better than him, not in arm talent, not in football IQ, not in leadership. He wasn't supposed to matter. But from day one, Shador Sanders forced everyone in the building to rethink what was possible. What's happening in Cleveland isn't just about quarterback competition, it's about control, about a coaching staff and front office doing everything they can to slow down the rise of a player they never wanted in the first place. The truth is, Shador Sanders is outperforming expectations, winning reps, and commanding the locker room. But you wouldn't know it from how the team is handling him, because behind the scenes, there's a power struggle happening, and Shador is right in the middle of it. Kevin Stefanski has a type. He likes system guys, quiet workers, players who keep their heads down and don't draw attention. Shador doesn't fit that mold. He's bold, branded, and built for the spotlight. He's not hiding from expectations, he's inviting them. And that makes the staff nervous, not because Shador can't play, but because he can. Because every time he steps on the field, he makes it harder for them to justify holding him back. So what did they do? They reached for Dylan Gabriel in the third round, 2 rounds before Shador, a quarterback they didn't need, a player who wasn't even projected to go that high. It wasn't about talent.
They don't believe how toxic this is. If you're still using a plastic or wooden cutting board, you need to.
It was about leverage. Drafting Gabriel gave the staff a shield, a reason to delay Shador's ascent. It gave them a way to say, we're developing both rookies, instead of admitting that the one they didn't want is already better than the one they did. And now, even as Shador continues to outshine expectations, the excuses pile up. He needs time. He's still learning. We want to ease him in. But anyone watching practice knows the truth. The coaching staff didn't plan for this. They didn't want this. Shador is too confident, too fast, too good. And they're not ready to hand over the keys. But ready or not, the pressure is building. And Jimmy Haslam isn't in the mood to wait. He made his call. The question now is whether the staff is willing to follow or be left behind. This isn't the first time Jimmy Haslam has stepped in to shape the Browns' quarterback future, but this time it feels different. This time, the owner isn't just nudging the staff in a certain direction, he's drawing a line in the sand. Haslam wants Shador Sanders under center in week 1, and he's not interested in excuses. The pressure has gone from suggestion to expectation, and when an NFL owner of Haslam's stature sets his sights on a player, you better believe the entire organization feels it. Haslam didn't just draft Shador, he's backing him publicly, forcefully, and with a clear mandate. The owner sees what others in that building are too proud or too scared to admit. Shador Sanders is a generational talent. He doesn't look like a 5th-round pick. He doesn't move like a rookie. He doesn't carry himself like a backup. And Haslam knows the Browns have something they haven't had in decades. A potential star at quarterback who can lead on the field and electrify the fan base off of it. Colin Cowherd said it plainly. Haslam is obsessed with quarterbacks who generate headlines. He pushed for Johnny Manziel. He doubled down on Baker Mayfield. He went all in on Deshaun Watson. But unlike those picks, each of them fraught with baggage, controversy, or inconsistency, Shador Sanders has the tools to back it all up. He's clean, he's sharp, he's explosive, and most of all, he's unafraid. Haslam isn't just picking a player, he's picking a moment. He knows Cleveland needs a face, a symbol, a spark, someone who can rally the fan base and shift the national perception. Shador isn't just the best option, He's the most powerful story, and Haslam wants that story to begin in week one. The coaching staff may want more time, but Haslam is done waiting. The era of Shador Sanders isn't coming, it's here, and the man signing the checks has made sure of it. Most rookies take a break before the grind of training camp, a little time to breathe, recover, and rest, but not Shador Sanders. While others were resting, he was grinding in full Browns gear at his father's home turf, preparing like it was a Sunday afternoon in September. Helmet on, pads strapped, cleats laced, no coaches watching, no cameras rolling, except one, just long enough to leak the clip that would shake the Browns fan base to the core. It wasn't just a workout, it was a statement. You don't put on the full uniform unless you believe you're the man. You don't run drills in cleats and game pants unless you're feeling yourself under the lights, leading your team, writing your name into NFL history. This wasn't practice, that was visualization. That was Shador mentally walking through his debut, every motion purposeful, every drop back loaded with intention. That's what separates the elite from the ordinary, not talent, but obsession. While the coaching staff debates depth charts and fans argue over preseason reps, Shador's already living it. He's not hoping for the job, he's claiming it. And he's doing it in the same place that built him, at Dion's home, where work ethic was forged and where nothing was ever handed over without sweat. The clip didn't need narration, it didn't need sound. Just the image alone said enough. Shador and Brown's brown and orange, whipping the ball through the air like he was already in control of the huddle. It hit different. Not because it was flashy, but because it was real. You can't fake belief, and Shador's belief in himself, unshakable. Let's be honest. Who else in that quarterback room is out here doing this? Who else is sacrificing vacation time to mentally and physically prepare like the job is already his? Joe Flacco? Kenny Pickett? Dylan Gabriel? Please. None of them have what Shador has, the urgency, the preparation, the vision. Because Shador Sanders doesn't just want to be the Browns quarterback, he's already acting like he is. And that should terrify every man ahead of him on that depth chart. For weeks, Browns GM Andrew Berry tiptoed around the topic. Publicly, he played it safe. Standard talking points, vague optimism, but behind the scenes, the tide was shifting. The staff could try to slow the momentum, but Berry couldn't ignore what was unfolding right in front of him. The fifth round rookie that wasn't supposed to matter was dominating conversations in the building. And now, even Berry is being forced to acknowledge what everyone with eyes already knows. Shador Sanders is different. After the draft, Berry insisted they jumped at the chance to draft Shador. But anyone paying attention knows the truth. They didn't expect him to fall that far. They didn't plan for this. Dylan Gabriel was supposed to be the project, the future, the insurance policy. But then Shador somehow was still there. And Haslam wasn't about to let the front office pass on a player he believed in more than any scout in the building. Berry's post-draft comments were telling. He praised Shador's accuracy, leadership, and the elite college production. He talked about how composed Sanders looked under pressure, how he played well from the pocket, how he processed the game at an advanced level. These aren't compliments you give to someone you're planning a red shirt. These are the things you say when a quarterback is knocking on the door and you know you can't keep it shut much longer. And now, Berry's beginning to change his tune, slowly, carefully, but clearly.
Let's get right into it. Does it whiten? 100% yes. 100% yes. But the dying
The front office is no longer positioning Shador as a developmental piece. They're starting to frame him as a competitor, as someone who was brought in to push for the starting job, not wait patiently for it. The shift is subtle but massive. The language around Shador is evolving, and that only happens when a player has outgrown the narrative the organization built around him. Berry can't keep pretending this is about the future, because Shador is demanding the present. The front office didn't plan for him to be here, but now they're realizing he might be the best quarterback on the roster. And that's not an opinion. That's the uncomfortable reality they're facing every single day at camp. The Cleveland Browns haven't inspired this kind of buzz in years, not for a rookie, not for a quarterback, and not even for a first-round pick. But for a fifth rounder, for Shador Sanders, it's wildfire and it's spreading. You don't even have to squint to see it. The fan base is coming alive, and there's one name on every banner, every jersey, every voice cracking with excitement at training camp: Shador. Fans know real when they see it, and they've seen enough. The open practices are packed. The Sanders jerseys are everywhere, custom made, bootleg, stitched by hand if they have to be. Young fans who never believed the Browns could have that guy at quarterback are now flooding social media, quoting Dion, quoting Shador himself. The older generation, cynical from decades of disappointment, is cautiously peeking around the corner asking, could this really be the one? It's not just about the arm, it's not just about the stats from OTAs, it's the energy. Cleveland is a city that runs on grit, resilience, and hunger. And that's exactly what Shador brings. He's flashy, yes, but he backs it up with work. He's confident, but he's putting in more hours than anyone else. He carries himself like a star, but he talks like a soldier on a mission. And for a city that's watched quarterback after quarterback fumble their chance, sometimes literally, Shador feels like a total reversal, not just talented, inevitable. This isn't about marketing hype or immediate pressure anymore. This is grassroots electricity, and it's surging. From barbershops to Browns forums to tailgate groups planning for September, the message is clear. We want Shador. We believe in him. And here's the thing. The energy isn't being manufactured by the organization. It's being driven by the people. This is what happens when a city starving for a savior sees one wearing their jersey, grinding in silence, and refusing to back down. Shador hasn't just captured attention, he's reignited hope. And that may be the most dangerous thing for the coaches still trying to stall him. Because when the fans are louder than the front office, change is already coming. The line has been drawn in Cleveland, and there's no walking it back now. On one side, you have Jimmy Haslam, the owner, the power broker, the man who signs the checks, standing firmly behind Shador Sanders as the future of the franchise. On the other side, a coaching staff trying to delay the inevitable, clinging to veteran comfort and control. In between, the quarterback room is cracking, the media is circling, and the fan base is already marching behind their guy. Something's got to give. Let's be blunt. Kevin Stefanski is in a no-win situation. If he defies the owner and sticks with Flacco or Pickett and the Browns stumble out of the gate, the noise will be deafening. Every incomplete pass, every stalled drive, every red zone failure will feel like an indictment of the decision to bench Shador. And once the fans start chanting his name, because they will, there's no walking that back. At that point, Stefanski won't just be managing a quarterback controversy, he'll be managing for his job. But what happens if he does cave? If he gives Shador the week one start under pressure instead of conviction, then he's handing the keys to a player he didn't want, never planned for, and may still not fully believe in. And make no mistake, Shador will remember that. This isn't just about football. This is about identity, leadership, and pride. And yet, here's the thing. Haslam might be the only one in the entire building with the vision to see what's really in front of him. Shador Sanders isn't just the best quarterback on the roster. He's the only one who gives the Browns a future worth watching. He's the spark, the voice, the presence. He's the quarterback who believes in himself more than anyone ever has in Cleveland. So now the question is, will the coach catch up to what the fans, the owner, and even the reality are already screaming? Or will he dig in and risk being remembered as the man who tried to stop the tide? Let me know in the comments, does Stefanski survive this? Or are we already witnessing the dawn of a new era in Cleveland with Shador Sanders under